Alan Stratton from Aswood Turns. In this video, I'll explain my eccentric faceplate system in greater detail. These are the faceplates that I used for the eccentric magic wands and that I will be using for many more eccentric turnings in the future. Because it is more than just a simple faceplate, I think we can call it an eccentric faceplate system. The system provides indexing which results in positive, repeatable stock positioning. At the same time, the system reduces pressure required from the tailstock to a bare minimum. This results in the spindle flexing less than if you still had to crank down hard on the tailstock. In fact, you need only enough pressure to keep the wood from shifting. Your spindle may still flex from tool pressure, but not from tailstock pressure. This system can be used for a lot of eccentric turnings between centers, whether you keep the axes parallel to the lathe axis, or skewed, or not parallel. My magic wands are an example of skewed axes since I shifted the opposite end to be diagonally opposite to the other. Again, this system does require the tailstock. System components are two faceplates, one threaded to match your lathe spindle, the other threaded to match your live center threads. If your live center does not have threads, then it's probably time to upgrade it. In addition, you'll need 4 short pieces of 1/8 inch brass rod. Size the rod to protrude from the faceplate somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, just enough to engage the wood and transmit rotational power to the stock. If you follow my directions, you'll also have a template for drilling the holes in the ends of your workpiece. You'll appreciate the template when you attempt to mark out the small measures on the end of skinny pieces of wood. To set up the system, create a paper pattern either with a compass and ruler or your favorite drawing program. I used Microsoft PowerPoint. Mark a center and perpendicular axes. Also draw lines at 45 degrees. Now draw concentric circles with a radii of 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and 1/2 inch. Mark the intersections that you will drill. Cut at least 3 2 to 3 inch square pieces of plastic countertop laminate. Sandwich them together with small pieces of double stick tape and glue your paper pattern to the top. Punch and drill all those holes through the entire stack. Doing it this way, all pieces of laminate will have the same hole pattern. Drill them individually and you may wind up with a mess. Prepare your faceplates, one for the spindle and one for the live center. You can review my previous faceplate videos if you need to. For my Powermatic 3520A, I need 1¼ inch by 8 TPI for the spindle and 3/4 by 10 TPI for the live center. Yours may vary, so check. On my faceplates, I tap the threads clear through my blank, then glue on another layer of wood. Face off the surface of the faceplate, sanding as necessary with sandpaper on a flat scrap of wood. Then, drill a 1/8 inch center hole while on the lathe. You want the center hole to match your lathe's axis. Then index the laminate to the faceplate using the center hole and glue the laminate to the faceplate. I did both faceplates at once with a single brass pin indexing both faceplates and both pieces of laminate and used the tailstock for clamping pressure. Just remember to put a layer of wax paper or parchment paper between the layers of laminate. Glue will squeeze through the holes. Now that the prep work is done, you will not need to do it again for your next eccentric turning. Your faceplates should resemble these. Let's now prepare the wood for your turning. Mark the center on each end and drill a shallow 1/8 inch hole. Insert a short brass rod through your laminate template and into the end of your wood. Next, position the template and drill the first corner hole. Insert another brass rod in this hole. This should now anchor the template so that you can easily drill the remaining 3 holes. Repeat on the other end of your workpiece. And finally, number your holes according to the strategy you've decided on, whether skewed or parallel axes. Numbering will prevent confusion later, and you can thank me later for numbering them. Now for the fun part. In each end, insert one brass pin that we'll call the index pin in the center hole of the faceplate and your turning stock. Insert another brass pin that we'll call the drive pin in any of your numbered holes. This pin enables power transmission to spin the stock and the live center. Now bring up the tailstock with just minimal pressure, only enough so that there's no gap or slippage of the workpiece between the centers. Do your rough turning and any other initial turning appropriate for this axis. Sand and finish as necessary. Now for the eccentric part. Move the index pins to your first numbered position. Insert the drive pin in the center holes of the faceplate and the workpiece. Again, bring up the tailstock, applying minimal pressure. Turn, sand, and finish this segment. Repeat for position 2, repeat for position 3, repeat for position 4. Return to starting position for any last cleanup. What else can you do with this system? Well, you tell me. Experiment. I'd like to know all the creative ways that you use the system. The system provides definite measured offsets and enables positive power transmission to the workpiece. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my As Wood Turns channel and website so I can keep you updated. Have fun and be safe. Always wear a full face shield. This is Alan Stratton from AsWoodTurns.com, and we'll see you shortly on the next video.